I am a published poet. Poetry is a passion of mine. And interestingly enough, and I've written poetry for many years, because of some things in my background with my family, which I'm not going to delve into, I would just say that I stopped writing for many years. I had to stop writing for many years. But when I got back to it, about 10, 12 years ago, I reemerged as a poet and started writing a lot of poetry. And most of my poetry was the typical thing that you see from someone who's going through adolescent angst, you know, the anger, the rage, the rebellion, you know, all of this dark poetry. I mean, nice words, well written, you know, good rhythm and meter and syntax and all that, but it was very dark. And when I went through this shift in my consciousness, I realized that I wanted to write poems that really inspired people, because there's enough negativity out there. Okay, there are enough sad songs out there. There's enough misery in the world. So I realized that, you know, we all have gifts, and if you know, there's a reason why we have gifts. I mean, most people abandon their gifts that they come in with at a very early age for a variety of reasons. It's too difficult. The circumstances that they find themselves in just prevent them from doing it. Well, I finally realized that if this is my passion, there's a reason why I have this passion, and I had this experience with writing the book, and I realized that I wanted to write poetry that really inspired people. So I started a page on Facebook called Poetry for Living an Inspired Life. And since I started that, I have been getting emails from people literally all over the world. The poems deal with listening to your inner silence, meditation, global oneness, just types of things that make people feel enriched rather than drained, basically. Okay. My book is, you know, it's prose. It's a typical book, but I do have some poetry. A small amount of poetry is interspersed with the narrative text in the book. Honestly, it's hard for me to answer the question because it was never really something that I consciously thought about doing, other than when I started writing the book, I was also doing this very deep meditation that I was talking to you about. All of the poems on that page on Facebook came through the meditation. They're all divinely inspired. In other words, for me, I use the term God, but God, the universe, the higher power, whatever, all of the poems came through that source. And so because of that, some of them just kind of naturally lent themselves to the subjects that were being discussed in the book.